It's the wrong style. There we go. Hey, good morning, Justin. Good morning, Rob. Yeah, slightly green day in the market today. Not a gap down. I was kind of thinking it was gonna have a more pronounced effect. Um, I don't know. It's an interesting situation we're in with this whole coronavirus and the market selling off thing. Obviously, there's risk being taken off of the table here. At the same time, we had, um, let me just pull up the Nasdaq futures here. Like really excellent volume on Friday morning, right here. Of course, volume was also good Thursday morning. Didn't amount to much, but we're still in the early stages of this, so it's really hard to say that we're going that the market's done selling off. One thing I did want to do that I didn't have a chance to do, I'm still fighting with my new Linux operating system. So if the screen just dies on you, that's probably why. You can let Eli know that if he jumps on here. Also, having a hard time resizing this window. Linux doesn't seem to want to really do that for me. So a couple little flaws in the system here. Overall, it's pretty decent. Um, I increased the memory allocation for this particular program, and that appears to have appeased the crashing gods for now. So we'll see what happens. Every day it appears to be a little bit of a different challenge. Um, I was thinking about recent times in the market where we had correction here, correction, maybe another correction, and it kind of reminds me of. Let me see here. Dow Jones is all we have to go after. Dow Jones all-time chart. Googling on my other screen here. 25.5 for the Dow. Concerns Russell central bank support bets. That's stupid. Okay, so let's find some of those choppy market times. I'm thinking 60s. We had a couple of these times where there was a myriad of market corrections, um, very close together. We had one at the end of 2018. Maybe that's a good. I need to find a good chart and just save it to my favorites. I don't think I've done that yet. I don't think we get all time. Oh, that's super. That's pretty good. I'm gonna show you guys what I got over here. Let me pull chat out here a second. Not too much chat. I think you guys aren't super chatty today. So here's the situation. Here's the 70s. Right there, we kind of went crazy sideways a little bit right there. That's loosely what I'm thinking about. Correction went up, correction went up, correction went sideways, then kind of back up. Well, distribution day count. Oh, they don't start counting it. They don't count it anymore. They just say marketing correction. It's just gonna say marketing correction. We can see what it got up to though. I think I was out of the market before they actually put the market into correction. Market in correction. Obviously, I see there's a, oh, market in correction. Leaders crush the stock market, issues first bearish break of 2020. So look at the day before that to see what our distribution day count was. 6 on the S&P, 4 on the NASDAQ. So we went 7 distribution days on the S&P, turned us into a correction per IBD. Now that was on the 24th. That was this day. So still a pretty good day to get out. Actually, I think that was the day I got out. Still a pretty good day to get out right there. So not bad at all, IBD. But you can see a swath of distribution days coming in with very heavy volume. And it looks like they finally called it at this day. So not too bad. But yeah, marketing correction and a series of market corrections. Because again, we just had one at the end of 2018, a bear market. I think it was Investopedia. List of bear markets. And it wasn't on Wikipedia. There was another one. I don't think I saved it. What profile am I in? Yeah, that's the right profile. Huh. Yeah, maybe it is Investopedia. Let me look here. 11 historic bear markets. Maybe that was it. %, 27%. I never did, Rob. I never did. I was just so damn frustrated, to be honest with you. I realized this morning I've been struggling with tech shit for like a decade now. I'm like sick of it. Yeah, if I can't solve the problem with my computer here, I'm switching back to Windows. But anywho. Yeah, so I mean the COVID-19 virus is still far from contained, still has a lot more spreading to go. Obviously there's a lull in the news, kind of loosely. It's not a major lull in the news. We haven't been silent for a week or two. But yeah, with such an extreme sell-off, I can't imagine the selling is all completely over. That would be pretty interesting because it appears the U.S. still has its go at the outbreak. I'm not sure how China is doing in terms of its life cycle with the virus. Yeah, JD's not too bad. Alibaba too. It's funny. I think you guys were saying last week that Alibaba, oddly enough, was staying high for being kind of one of the epicenters of the outbreak. China being the epicenter of the outbreak, and Alibaba being one of the biggest companies in China. Yeah, holding relatively well, actually, all things considered. So nothing definitive, but not really actionable, but definitely is good to note. SQ is flat last time I saw it. Still chilling up there towards recent highs. So still above, fighting with our long-term trend line right there. We already broke the lower one. We're fighting with this one. Yeah, we're doing okay. We're not selling off, that's for sure. Like I said, its relative strength line is basically through the roof. So Tesla's up 5% today. $703. Bounce off the 20-day line. 50 days way down here at 346. That's kind of nuts. Oh no, that's the 50-day. My bad. I don't have the 20-day on this chart. I added the 20 to one of these. I just don't think I changed the name. For SQ, Rob, or what stock? Do they have earnings coming up? Yeah, earnings is already gone. I'm not sure what your which stock you're looking at, Rob. Oh, it is SQ. You mean this earnings gap? They had earnings here, reported here. I guess it depends on your entry. Obviously, you want to risk as little as possible. And the market environment right now is such that I'm not really touching stuff. We're just counting for follow-through days. We haven't talked about that yet, but we do have a down day, so this would be day 0. This would be day 1 for a follow-through day. Keeping things in perspective here. So I'm not really jumping on positions at this stage of the game. I think it's a time for patience more than it's a time to be aggressive. It's still a pretty brand new decline. We don't really know really what's going on. I mean, your best stop is probably under these lows, though. But like I said, the whole up 15% from a month ago. I mean, you've got about 11 and a quarter. You can do 11.5, 12% to about the 75 level. But again, the market's so volatile, we can get another big down day or two, and boom, you're slicing right through that. I guess part of it decides on how big of a position it is, Rob. If it looks like it's just stock for you. So it's one of the better behaving stocks in the market. I don't want to be jumping out of it prematurely here because it's behaving extraordinarily well. So you could try to stay with it. You can probably give it to your break even if you really wanted to, if you're comfortable with that. Maybe like make 1% on it or something. But I mean, a stop just under 75. You don't want to put your stops on big round numbers. Maybe like 74.60 or something like that. But yeah, I mean, generally it's behaving perfectly fine. There's nothing wrong with it. So yeah, just keep on keeping on with it right there. NQ 1.3%. Twitter actually leading my global watch list today. I'm not sure why Twitter is the only thing that you can't touch in the world. So I guess GE's rising a little bit. So they could stall at our trend line right there. A very loose trend line, mind you. So bounce down there to the 200-day moving average for GE. Let's take a look at some of the big names. Apple up 3% today. Apple up 3%. Let's look at United Airlines. That's a short Casey's in. They're still taking on the chin, down another 5%. Yeah, Casey got in some massively good shorts here. I'm jealous. Of course, the week the market falls apart is the week I decide to have a crazy technology week. Save, another airline, down 3%. DAL down 2.3%. Just taking dives the airlines are here. There's probably cruise lines. Norwegian Cruises probably down significantly as well. Yeah, there you go. Down a bunch. We mentioned Apple was back up a little bit today, up 3%. after a very high volume day the other day, coming back almost to the 200-day moving average. That could be considered a capitulation candle almost. That's a huge volume candle. There's a lot bought down there. Hold on. You guys out of here? What'd you get? Some Cheetos? Yeah. You're a lucky boy.
For a snack.
That's very nice. Have a great day, Poozy.
Hey, do we have any of those phone protectors, the screen protectors?
I don't know. Probably if they are, they're one of those.
I just need to makeshift one for my Apple Watch until I get my.
Isn't the screen protector supposed to stop it from breaking?
It's preventing it from scratches.
Bye. Love you, bud. Have a great day. Tell your friends about your accomplishments. Be proud of yourself, okay? Just be careful with your watch.
I know, it's just hard.
Why?
Because I'm accident prone.
Mm-hmm.
I love you.
Love you too. Bye.
Bye-bye.
All right, I'm back. Yeah, I adjusted. Friday was pretty interesting. Hey, when you guys can make the monkey dance, take advantage of it. I don't mind being the monkey. It's fine with me. All right, Apple, let's take a look at those big caps. Microsoft. Bounce off a very long-term trend line since the beginning of 2019. Probably could even go back. It doesn't look like I can go back further on there. But you can see right there doing pretty good. Upping the memory allocation of this program really is doing well for the for Thinkorswim here. Another bounce today. Again, very high volumes yesterday. Is very encouraging for a bottom, to be honest with you. That dynamically, everything else being equal, you could be buying, I think, at this particular stage. I don't believe in FUD necessarily, but I'm not sure if this coronavirus is FUD, which puts a bit of a damper in trading for me. Amazon, which was holding, which did not hold, which actually came all the way back down through its long-term pattern, all the way to the bottom, which is rare, very, very rare. And Amazon with not that much volume on that bottom, oddly enough. So just get Amazon time. It'll be back with time. Just needs a little bit of time. What's another big one? Facebook. Underneath its trend line, Nvidia. Probably will have some supply chain issues. I can't assume they're made too much in the U.S. Remember, I mentioned don't buy that one at highs. It popped up, came back down. Not too far, though, only to the 50-day moving average. Netflix. I can't imagine they're going to have too much problems at all. Amazon is, they're hosted on Amazon, if you don't know that. They don't have their own data centers. They ditched them and rent stuff from Amazon. And they haven't really been hit too bad by the coronavirus thing. A little bit of distribution, but not much at all. Still well above the 50-day. So, I mean, that one's doing pretty good. And, you know, our NASDAQ right now just chopping around. Just waiting for the next news events, next shoes to drop from the coronavirus. Over the weekend, news dropping that there was quite a bit of cases in Seattle that we didn't know about. Just spreading across the country for no apparent reason. Seattle was lazy, I guess. So 1,500 cases approximately in Washington that no one knew about. Yeah, so I mean, if we stay low in terms of outbreak count, it could be good. One thing I don't know is that, I mean, what's our weather like in comparison to where did it break out at? China? Our weather's probably warmer than China's right now. No, actually, China. Yeah, so that's interesting. Yeah, and I just don't know what that does to the stock market, Justin. I'm not quite sure if this is the bottom, you know? I can't be very certain in that. Oh, mostly over the 70s. Yeah, I think the market's just trying to judge the kind of economic impact it's going to have. I mean, if we could get rid of 2% of the world's population, that'd be pretty cool. I was overpopulation. It's my overpopulation joke of the day. And so market oscillating right here. We haven't really rallied since the market opened. It's just been chilling here. So, but looking at your leaders, at your biggest ones, I mean, Netflix obviously trying to come back long term, turn around, play breakout here, still really close to the trend line. I mean, so you would have to think this is a definite candidate. Let's go to the long term turnarounds here. So Fortinet pulling back here as well. Okta actually pulling back to the 200-day moving average and actually bouncing, not looking too bad. Yesterday was a bullish outside day. Well, I guess that'll be Friday. It was a bullish outside day. Morning, Muhammad. So that's not too bad for Okta, which has kind of been slowly walking its way higher. But this is definitely kind of lower. No, I actually have not talked about Zoom. Zoom actually took a big haircut the other day, Friday. Oddly enough, it never really gained that much momentum on the way up here. I think Eli had it out of this bull flag or something. So it got some momentum right there, but then big hit of distribution stepped in right there. 21 million, 5 times average volume. That's a huge hit right there. So they're not super enthusiastic about it. Earnings on 3-4, and I don't know what day it is anymore. 3-2. Yeah, it could be good for the whole digital communication platform, Zoom, Work, which is, thank you, Rob. Every time I sneeze, I wonder if you're going to say bless you. Which is Slack. Work is Slack. And then Microsoft Teams, which is just a very small segment of Microsoft, so that doesn't really count. But there's a whole digital, probably like Ring. It didn't mute? Really? Oh, I hit the mute button. I believe this is, Ring Central. They're also digital communications. Look at the crazy run they've been on. Looks like since 19, 18, 17. A long-term breakout here, 2016. Look at that, from 30 up to 250. Getting close to 10x in here. Getting pretty close. So you see these large runs and these market themes. I think it's important to identify those, and especially after these long-term turnarounds here. Look at that. Look at that beautiful long base right there. Even this one all by itself, very large cup and handle. I think these are the things that can really do a body good, to be honest with you. You get these down about the 25 level. Jesse Stein in the Super Stocks, we talked about this once or twice, says about $26 is where stocks tend to die from the early rallies, and this obviously has some more history. And again, dies at about the $25, $26 level, and then breaks out from there and goes on a tremendous run, does Ring Central. Now, I'm only familiar with Ring Central from the stupid little computer dangles, which seems outdated, so I missed something here, but just a huge rally right there. Identifying these themes in the market, I think, is very, very powerful. And I think that's a good focus going forward, I think, would be identifying these themes. Am I still a robot, Eli? I can't hear myself, so I don't know. I guess I could have plugged in my headphones. Morning, Eli. Oh, you still giving me crap from Friday. Teen Randy? I never did listen to that video. I was just so done with my computer, to be honest with you. I really didn't do a whole heck of a lot to be. Yeah. Oh, I am kind of robot-y. No one tells me I'm robot-y. Oh, that's weird. What it has to do with my mic? All right, I'm gonna undo this real quick. Hold on a second. All right. Added the audio input device. We'll see how that goes. See if I still sound like a robot. I'm surprised no one mentioned it today. It doesn't go very well, does it? Yeah. It's worse? Huh. Seems gone now. Oh, there it is. You mute all those. Now it's good. Narrate philosophy books. Real Philosophy by Real Crypto. Hmm. Robot Uprising? I did see a comment about SLV. I don't know what to make of that, man. I mean, just a lot of risk off the table on that one. I don't get it. It's just something I don't want to be involved in. When something's tricky, you just want to step aside. I will say this is hard to listen to yourself 5 seconds in lag and still keep talking in the current time frame. So under the 200 period moving average, I'm not sure it's done that in a while. Yeah, going all the way back to July of last year. Yeah, so that's a tricky one. I was looking at some of these other long-term turnarounds. We got Goose. I'm going to turn my headphones off so I don't have to listen to myself in laggy time frame. Yeah, gold did something similar too. Gold had a sell-off too. It just goes to show the weirdness of gold, which is, I mean, trading gold is weird. The fact that they'll make any money off gold is kind of strange, you know, on this run up over here. That's the strange part right there. But gold generally, I mean, if you bought gold over here and COVID came out, you were feeling good, and then you just get obliterated. That just shows that people are willing to take that gold position off of the table, and maybe they don't view the COVID thing as that big of a deal. It's hard to say exactly what drives that, but like I said, if it's not super clear, I tend not to invest in it. At least I try not to invest in it. Pulling back here a little bit, about 0.59% up at this stage. All right, let's take a look. FTNT pulling back significantly during this whole market correction. You can see right there two very, very large volume candles. Biogen with a Warren Buffett investment. I believe it's Biogen. ABC, a very long-term trend line here, not able to get above it quite yet. Light, which is actually on the IBD sector leaders list, I believe. That's the list that they're on. Doing a let's go back and okay, so elevated from this long-term trend line, a little bit elevated from the horizontal trend breakout at the all-time high there. Amazon, as you mentioned, coming all the way back down into the lower support line. which could be a nice entry opportunity for Amazon. Again, I'm not jumping in markets at the stage of the game, but I mean, nothing's really too wrong with Amazon. Okta, looked at this one already too, looking pretty decent. Hasn't fallen too far, respecting the 50-day moving average, which is good, right there. Not too bad. Court, Netflix. Netflix still doing okay. Still doing okay. It's still above our trend line for our long-term turnaround play. Each bump is selling off. Are you talking about in general, Eli, or a specific name, or what are you referring to? DocuSign, long-term turnaround right there, up significantly from the 51, almost doubled right there, got to 92. Little pullback right now. Yeah, general, I'm not jumping in. I think, the market's pretty news driven right now. It was doing good, early here in the COVID virus, then just started caving in. So very news driven right now. If you remember back to late 2018, we were super news driven. It's like that right now. I think as soon as another bad news article comes in, we're going to get another leg lower. So I'm not super in tune to jumping in. If you take a stock like Apple actually, and Apple looks like it could be ready to go back in if you don't take any current news into account. Look at that crazy volume candle right there. Very, very elevated volume in Apple. But still, with the coronavirus having a long way to go, I'm not sure what the China status is. I mean, China was the epicenter of the outbreak. Coronavirus China update. And if China starts to find a way to contain this thing, then there may be an ease to the market because they could see an end in sight. So China let us in terms of outbreaks. It may lead us in terms of showing slowdown in infection rate or whatever way they're doing. So, um, but yeah, I'll keep an eye on China and the U.S. cases too. Obviously, that's going to hit us a lot harder. It's now present on every continent but the Antarctic, killing about 3% of people. It looks like 90,000 people infected, killing more than 3,000. Officials reported 202 new cases, the lowest daily total since January. So that's good news. If they're slowing it down in China, there's a possibility it could slow down elsewhere. It may increase elsewhere, but maybe it's got a shorter shelf life or something. Maybe it's susceptible to temperatures. I mean, all this is obviously very late breaking here. Yeah, so we'll see how it goes there. But I don't think any general reason to jump in immediately here. I think it's a great time to put a watch list together. I haven't quite done that yet, as I'm still fighting trying to get all my stuff worked out, trying to get my application running. I had a hell of a time getting Node Version Manager running on Ubuntu. Who thought that would be difficult? I guess only I make things difficult. Um, but anyway, yeah, I think it's a great time to make a watch list to try to see what's working, what's not. Um, like Square is obviously a good candidate going forward. Sector rotation, I think, would be good to look into. Um, some IBD lists can do a good job for you there. Looks like it's about 8:07. I got to bounce here pretty soon. We can do that real quick. We could take a look at see if they have relative strength at new highs. That'd be a good one to look at. Here's a great list for right now. These are the stocks that are at new highs for relative strength for them, which is good. So let's go through this list and then I think I'll bounce. No, no, no. Okay, so let's take a look at these. LM. That seems stupid. Lake. Obviously, that is a huge mover. Very, very volatile. Don't want to jump in on that one. Axe. Seems weird. All these numbers suck fundamentally. I'm going to avoid all the fundamental ones and get to ones. GPN's the only one that looks good fundamentally, according to the screen here. And VRTX is okay too. That's not too bad down there by the 50-day. Put it on a watch list. VRTX, not too bad. Pulling in a little bit right there. Autodesk. ADSK. Yeah, just putting a watch list together, Eli. These are great. This is one of the funner times in the market, to be honest with you, at least in my opinion. Um, it just really is. There's so much going on. Instead of everything going up and there's nothing to do here, you have a lot of homework to do. And it's funny how your whole life you don't want to do homework, and here I am excited about doing homework. Adobe, also relative strength line, pretty good. New highs for that one. So not doing too bad. Yeah, nothing really screaming. Square is probably, I'm not sure why Square's not on this list. I think because it wasn't quite at new highs. This probably isn't as good of a list as we wanted it to be. So, but we'll keep a lookout as the days go on. And I know my computer's not going to crash on me, which so far we're doing so good. Hopefully I'll be able to, we'll get some good watch lists going, and we can try to look for some good thematic, movements around the market. See what they're not distributing as much. I think all that stuff's relatively important. So, as you guys go about your day to day, if you guys hear anything about COVID, or find a good resource online to find information about it, cases and things like that, save them and share them here in the chat room, and we can be a little bit better informed. And I think that's probably what's going to turn it around here. But in the meantime, yeah, we're in the middle of a correction. Yesterday was day 0. Today's day 1. Looking for a follow-through day. Follow-through days typically come on between day 4 and 8 are the healthiest ones. So we got a few days of really nothing to do. And I'm going to end it there, guys. Have a good day. Should see you tomorrow. And don't go coughing on other people. Or this goes especially to you, Eli. Don't let other people cough on you, okay? I know the little weird thing you got with people coughing on you, but don't do it, okay? Just don't do it. All right, guys. Have a good day. I'll see you tomorrow.